Hello, hi my loves. So I am Elizabeth. I am the founder of this group and I am a women's dating coach. So if you're new to the group, what I do is I help women attract a lasting relationship with a committed, available, high quality masculine man, someone who's actually truly right for you, and build a life with that man, have a family with that man, and really realize all your dreams with him. So that is what I help women do. I help them do this, the inner work, with the outer work and the steps and the knowledge that they need so that they can meet their dream man quickly, with the least amount of stress and overworking and anxiety and just like doing too much, but the least amount of all of that, the quickly as possible, depending on where you're at in your journey of like getting from A to B, right? Without years of therapy, without having to read a million books and podcasts, because I'm taking you like straight to wherever the real blocks are for you and untangling and reprogramming all of the stuff that's in the way of attracting this man. So we're doing work on your stories, your limiting beliefs, you're healing the wounds and the traumas that might be there and stepping into your full radiance as a worthy, powerful, loving, creative, magical woman, which you already are. And we're just removing all the stuff that's in the way of you attracting that man. So if you are hopping on live, please say hi so I know who's here with me. I'd love to know if you're new to the group. Just let me know so I can welcome you to the group. And if you've been here a while, then of course we know each other, so I'd love to just know that you were here. And if you're here right now, you can say hi. If you're catching the replay, you can do #radiant, and I can just thank you for watching and thank you for joining me. So today I want to talk about how when you are anxiously obsessing over a man, that actually makes you unavailable. So I want to break down why that is and what you can do about it if you recognize yourself in this. Hi Haley, how are you? So this is for any woman here who kind of falls on the more like anxious or fearful avoidant scale. So, you have anxiety around men and dating and around, if he's texted or not, or how long it's been, or, what's happening with this man. So you find yourself like going into anxiety and obsession about a man. This one is really gonna be for you. So if that's you, you can just say like, hi, yes, that's me. Like I recognize myself as someone who can fall into that category, or just like do that sometimes with men. So this is for you. So it might sound counterintuitive, but here's why anxious obsession actually can make you unavailable, and actually does make you unavailable. So when you are obsessing about someone, you're feeling anxious about the relationship or where this is going or why he hasn't called or texted, and you're kind of consumed by anxiety. Anxiety is feeding on anxiety. Our anxious thoughts are creating more anxious thoughts, right? And so it's a cycle that keeps spinning and spinning and spinning, right? So the more that you focus on those thoughts and on the anxiety, then the more anxious you're going to be getting, right? So you become so preoccupied with your fears, with those thoughts, with those worries, that you aren't really actually seeing the man in front of you anymore. It's all of those thoughts and all of those interpretations and meanings are getting laid on top of him, and you're not really seeing him. Are you with me? So you about the feeling more than anything else, right? You can get consumed by trying to figure out what it means and making it mean something and trying to interpret it and understand what's going on, and you're looking for evidence for why your fears are correct. And whatever you look for, you're going to find. You can find evidence for literally anything that you want to find evidence for. So if you're having those anxious thoughts, you are easily going to be able to find evidence to support that, and then you're spinning out more and more and more, right? So you're pulled out of the present and the reality of what's happening, and you're in all the interpretations and the meanings that you're making from it. So you're not in the present. You're not seeing what's actually there. So this is where we then become unavailable, because we're not actually there present with what's truly there, but we're in all of the meanings and the thoughts and the anxiety and the feelings, right? So where does this come from? Where does the anxiety and the anxious thoughts and all of that obsession and obsessing and the fear, where does all of that come from? It comes from the past, right? It comes from your past experience, from something that happened to you in the past. Could have been with a man, could have been in your family, and it's getting triggered, that this means this, right? Something that you heard from someone else and you took it on as truth, and now it's getting applied to this man in this situation. So for example, let's say he doesn't text you back and it's been a while. And in the past, you had an ex or you dated a man who started not responding very often, or maybe from the beginning he didn't respond quickly or didn't respond a lot, and then it ended up fizzling out, and that was really hard for you. Now in your mind, what you've done is you've linked a man doesn't text back within X time frame equals he's not committed, he's not serious, he's pulling away, he's not interested in me. And those two things are linked in your mind. You think they're true. This means this, right? And that's only one possible interpretation for why a man might do that, right? So in your mind, it's like an absolute truth. And this is why you get stuck in the anxiety and you cannot get out of it, right? So no text means he's pulling away, or he's losing interest, or he's not interested, or he's with another girl, whatever it is. That's the meaning that then these two things have gotten attached, and your anxiety is coming from those beliefs. So now it could be true that he is pulling away, but it doesn't actually serve you to be anxious anyways, right? But it could also be, and we could think of a lot of other meanings for what it could mean if he doesn't text back right away, right? It could just mean that he's having an incredibly busy day at work. He's stressed out. He's focused on that. He's got a lot to deal with. It could be that his phone battery died. It could be that he's going through something in his personal life. There's a lot going on. It could be that he's sick. It could be all these other things. But when we're in the anxiety mind, we can't see that. We don't have emotional room to allow in any other possibility. And we actually have spun so much into the anxiety that even hearing another possibility may not be enough at that point, because it's just spun out so much. We have to actually deal with the part that has that anxiety. But we tend to think that our feelings are truth, right? I feel this way. I feel like he's pulling away. I feel like there's distance, so it must be true. And no one taught us that we actually feel things that sometimes are not true, that we have thoughts that are sometimes not true, that we are believing, and they're not serving us or helping us in any way to hold on to those. What we actually have is choice and sovereignty over the thoughts that we're going to believe, where our minds go, and the emotions that we're going to have in response to that. And no one taught us how we could actually rewire our minds and our bodies and our nervous systems so we don't go down those old pathways. The reason you go to anxiety so often is because it's an old neural pathway that's so trained that it's the place you're automatically going to be going, right? And this can happen in the blink of an eye. There can be one thing, it's subconscious trigger that you didn't even know what it was, and it maps into the subconscious meaning map that you already have, that already exists. And so rewiring these pathways, teaching your brain and your body to respond differently to the same triggers, is the work that I do with clients, so that the worst case scenario that the anxiety is going to doesn't have to be the place that you're going in the first place. Or if you go there, you can get out of it really quickly. You can catch yourself. So back to the situation. Let's say it's been a few hours since you texted him and he hasn't responded yet. Why are you unavailable? Because you're in this state of anxiety. So your anxiety was not about him to begin with, right? This is what we were saying. It's from the past. It's getting projected onto him and into this current moment. So he triggered it with his action, but it wasn't his fault. You already had that trigger, right? Because of a set of beliefs, trauma, wounds, perceptions, stories, things that have happened. So you're already primed to interpret it that way. So he pulled away and he didn't text right away, and that's the trigger. Some other guy did that, right? Those two things were connected in your mind. So the truth is that this response would have been triggered by any man because it's your past speaking. You're projecting meanings onto this new situation, onto this new man in the present from the past, from the stuff that's happened in the past. So it's the fear that's in control here. It's the fear that's speaking, and none of your triggers mean that they're true or accurate, and definitely not helpful. So if he's pulling away, if he's not pulling away, either way, the anxiety itself is not really serving in any way. But it is making you emotionally unavailable when this happens to him, and also to yourself, actually. So emotional availability, sorry, means that you need presence, right? Emotional availability is presence, right? It is connection in the present moment. It requires connection from our self, not our parts, to another person's self or to ourselves. So your anxiety is what's there. It's creating the barrier, making you emotionally unavailable. So when you do finally connect with him, you aren't connecting with him. Your anxiety is connecting with him. And that never goes well. I'm sure you ladies can think of lots of circumstances in which that's been so out of control, right? Especially if this continues over time. He may be patient in the beginning, and then it gets harder and harder to have to come up against this, because he's got all his own stuff in his life going on as well. So this is when you start getting extremely needy, demanding more time, more attention, more proof that he's not going anywhere, that he really cares about you, demanding that he commit to you and it's still really early, demanding that he do certain things for you, for that anxiety. And when you do this, you push him away, right? You can push him away with side comments, with protective energy that you start to put on, acting out of revenge. Maybe you're taking longer to respond to him, or you're suddenly attacking him at a different time, being more guarded and defensive with him and on defense with him because you're trying to protect yourself. This means there is this wall, there is this barrier between you. You cannot connect to him through your heart anymore. You can't even see him anymore. Your ability to truly see him, to communicate with him, to connect with him, to be present to what actually is completely compromised when we're in that state. So if this man was distant before, he's going to be even more so now. And if he wasn't actually distant, but you perceived him as being that way, and you continue to speak and react from the anxiety place, from the anxiety thoughts, that is definitely going to be something that's going to be pushing him away. He's going to maybe start pulling away because your anxiety reads, I don't trust you. And that's like a punch in the gut to a man who is trustworthy, because he'll feel like you don't really see him. And you don't, right? That's what's happening. You're not really seeing him. So the only question is, are you ready to end the cycle? Because this is where we start. This is where we need to do the work if this is what's coming up for you. So if you are, this is work that I help my clients do to rewire all the neural pathways, to do the work on your mind, your beliefs, the stories, the past that are held in your beliefs, in your thoughts, and in your nervous system. So you're not jumping to anxiety and jumping to these stories and these meanings automatically right away. From what a man is doing, so that you're actually able to be free from all the triggers that you have right now from past experiences with love, with men, with relationships, with dating, that are kind of getting projected right now onto any new man. If you're dating someone, they're getting projected onto him. If you're going to date people, they're getting projected onto those men. So that, you don't really have a real chance with this man, in the sense that you're not seeing him and you guys can't actually connect at that real level. The truth is he probably doesn't have a chance with you because you're not connecting. You're not able to see who he is. And yes, maybe he is unavailable and maybe he's actually available, but the way that you're interpreting everything he's doing is that he's not. So you're dating from a place of fear and wounding and neediness and self-protection, instead of that openness and the availability and the ability to see what's actually true and what's really happening. And that's not going to work because you've been trying it and it hasn't been working, and it's been really tough, and dating has been so difficult because of this. So if you're ready to do the work to clear out the stories, the beliefs, the patterns, the trigger, just the emotional junk that you're carrying, so you can have a clean slate, a blank slate with any new man or your current man, this is the work that I do with clients. This is like the foundational level work. This is what gives you the best chance to have the relationship of your dreams, the relationship you really want with the really right man for you, to make it to commitment, exclusivity, engagement, marriage, beyond, because these skills matter for the rest of your relationship, the rest of your life. So you can learn how to date as a high value woman from your healthy feminine energy. the process of attracting the best match for you, the tools for online dating if you're using that, for your profile, for communicating with men, both online, offline, in a way that actually works for both of you, the things that you need to look out for in the men you are dating, so you're not wasting your precious time with the wrong men, and also the things that are actually not negative signs, and then the inner work that you get to do around what just shows up for you that's really not about him. So if you want to be set up for success with men who are no longer just attracting or attracted to the wrong partners for you, or recreating old situations with new men, you know the cycle, and you can choose the really truly right man for you, cultivate secure, supportive, mutually empowering, really loving relationship. I have spots for one-on-one clients. This is 3 months or 6 months together, doing all of that inner transformative work, so you can stop replaying those patterns with men, experience dating as easy, smooth, effortless, stand in your worth as the worthy woman that you are, the prize that you are, and create a really deep emotional bond with the right man for you and attract that right relationship. Then send me a message, and what I'll do is I will give you a link to schedule a free consult call with me, so we can talk about what's going on for you, what's your situation, what's showing up with the men that you're dating, where you're needing support, and just talk through what working with me entails, what that looks like, all the details that you might need, any questions that you have, and just see if it's a really good fit to work together. So if you would like to do that, then send me a DM and I will give you the link to book the call. So love you all. I will see you soon. Bye.